There's one number. You probably don't know it yet, but it's the exact line that separates people who worry about money their entire lives from people who stop worrying about it forever. And it's not $1 million. It's not even 100,000. It's a number that might make you uncomfortable because it's much closer than you think. Have you ever caught yourself opening your banking app and immediately closing it? Not because things are bad, but because you already know what's there. And that knowledge doesn't exactly make you feel good. Most people will spend their entire lives in that state. Month after month, year after year, money comes in and goes out, and that feeling of control never arrives. That's exactly what we're talking about today. I've spent the last years trying to understand one question. Why do smart, hardworking people never build wealth? And I found the answer. It's going to surprise you. Subscribe and hit like. If by the end of this video you say to yourself, why did nobody tell me this sooner? Stop. Before we go further, one fact. 78% of people who started watching this video will never reach financial independence. Not because they can't, but because they'll turn it off before they hear the most important part. Don't be one of them. The problem. Why most people stay stuck. Let's be honest about what the average person's financial life actually looks like. Paycheck hits, rent, utilities, groceries, loan payments, whatever's left goes to miscellaneous. And by the next paycheck, that leftover is basically gone. Then the cycle repeats. This isn't laziness. This isn't a lack of discipline. This is a systemic trap that most of us fall into on autopilot. Psychologists call this survival mode. When money feels scarce, your brain literally switches into a different operating mode. All thinking becomes short-term. You're not thinking about the future, you're thinking about how to make it to Friday. Research from Princeton University found that the feeling of financial scarcity reduces cognitive capacity by roughly the same amount as pulling an all-nighter. You become less capable of making good decisions at the exact moment you need them most. Wait, I just said that being broke literally lowers your IQ. That's not a metaphor. The Princeton study measured cognitive test scores of the same people before and after payday. The gap, equivalent to 13 IQ points. You are making your most critical financial decisions when your brain is running at reduced capacity. Let that sink in. And here's the trap. While you're in survival mode, you can't think about growth. It's physiologically impossible. Your brain is busy with something else. That's the core problem. Not a lack of investment knowledge, not a lack of connections, but the fact that financial stress literally blocks your ability to think strategically. But there's a threshold, and crossing it changes everything. The solution. The first $5,000 to $20,000, that number is $5,000 to $20,000, depending on your personal expenses. More precisely, it's 3 to 6 months of your essential living costs. This is what I call your peace fund. Why that amount? Here's a question I want you to ask yourself right now. How many days could you survive if you lost your income tomorrow? Not months, days. Most people who answer honestly say fewer than 30. That is your real financial position. Vanguard conducted research showing that even a modest financial buffer, around $2,000, increases a person's subjective financial well-being by 21%. Not their income, not their investments. Just the existence of a buffer changes how they feel and how they make decisions. When you build up to 3 to 6 months of expenses, that effect compounds by another 13%. But the most important thing doesn't happen in the numbers. It happens in your head. Your brain stops running in survival mode and starts running in growth mode. Think of it like shifting gears. Before this point, you're driving in first, slow, straining, burning a lot of fuel. After, you shift, and the same pressure on the pedal takes you somewhere completely different. This is the real first threshold. Not $1 million, not a retirement account. This is the point where the rules of the game actually change.
The math, how compound interest really works now. Let's talk about the math, because this is where it gets genuinely exciting. Let's say you're saving $500 a month and investing it at an average return of 10% annually. To reach your first $20,000, you'd need about 38 months, more than 3 years of discipline and consistency. But here's what changes after that. Your next $20,000 will take only 34 months. Not 38, 34, because your first $20,000 is now working alongside you. The third $20,000, 30 months. The fourth, 26, and so on. Hold on. I just described math where every next $20,000 builds faster than the one before it. But here's what nobody says out loud. That means your first dollar is the most expensive dollar you will ever save, because it's the one that starts the entire chain. A dollar saved today is worth more than the same dollar saved 5 years from now. That's not motivation talk. That's arithmetic. At some point, once you've accumulated around $200,000 to $250,000, your investments will start generating roughly $20,000 per year on their own, without any additional contributions from you. Same money, same percentage, different scale, and everything changes. And here's the strangest part. Most people already know about compound interest. They've heard the eighth wonder of the world quote, "They nod along," and yet they save nothing. Why? Because knowledge without action is just a trivia fact. The difference between people who build wealth and those who don't isn't what they know. It's who started early enough. The most important thing to understand, the first threshold is the hardest. Not because the math is harder, but because psychologically it demands the most from you. You can't feel the results yet. You can't see money working for you yet. You're just saving and waiting. This is exactly where 80% of people quit, which means if you make it past this first threshold, you automatically enter the minority. One direct question, are you saving money every month right now? Yes or no? If no, you're in that 80% I just described. Not a judgment, just a fact. And it's something that can be changed right now. Keep watching. Psychology, how money changes your thinking. Now I want to talk about something financial videos rarely cover. The psychological shifts that happen once you cross this threshold. First, you stop being afraid of small expenses. You know the feeling. Spending 10 minutes debating whether to buy a $4 coffee, or standing in a store, mentally calculating every price tag. These micro decisions eat through enormous amounts of mental energy. Shocking stat. MIT research showed that the average person makes around 35,000 decisions per day. Of those, psychologists estimate up to 400 are money-related. Most of these decisions are made in a state of fatigue and stress. You are literally spending cognitive resources on, should I buy this coffee? Resources that could go toward your career or strategic thinking. Once you cross the first threshold, you stop doing this. Not because money doesn't matter anymore, but because you already know you control the big picture, and the small stuff no longer frightens you. Second, you start seeing opportunities where you used to see only threats. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, every unexpected event is a catastrophe. Car breaks down, toothaches, prices go up. Every one of those events triggers panic mode. With a financial cushion, those same events become tasks, not emergencies. And more than that, you start noticing opportunities. A friend is launching a business. An interesting project comes up. A good asset temporarily drops in value. Before, you'd walk right past. Now, you have the ability to act. Third, your relationship with work changes. Ask yourself, when was the last time you turned down an opportunity, a project, a conversation about a raise, switching jobs, because you couldn't afford to? Now imagine, what would be different if you had 6 months of expenses saved? This isn't fantasy. It's the specific math we just calculated. When you desperately need that paycheck, you negotiate from a weak position. You can't ask for a raise because you're scared of the answer. You can't leave because there's nowhere to go. When you have a 3 to 6 month buffer, everything shifts. You talk to your employer differently. You know you have time to find something better. And that knowledge, even if you never actually use it, changes how you carry yourself.
The traps, how not to blow it all back now, the most important part. Because most people who reach the first threshold make the same mistake. They spend it. The logic makes sense. I've been restricting myself for so long. I deserve a reward. It's my money. A new car, an expensive vacation, a down payment on an apartment you can't actually afford. And just like that, 3 years of work disappears in a few months. Here's a counterintuitive fact. Most lottery winners go bankrupt within 5 years. Not because they're unintelligent, but because they never developed the financial mindset required to manage money. The first threshold isn't just money, it's a training ground. You're learning to live with capital while the stakes are still manageable. Here's what you need to understand. The first threshold is not a reward. It's not a finish line. It's a starting point. This is where real wealth building actually begins. There are 3 major traps to know about. Trap 1. Now I can afford it. Having money in your account is not permission to spend. It's permission to invest. The difference is enormous. Trap 2. Lifestyle creep. This is what experts call lifestyle inflation. You start earning more, and you start spending more. Restaurant instead of cooking at home. Cab instead of the bus. Subscriptions quietly multiplying. Lifestyle inflation kills savings silently and invisibly. Watch that your expenses grow slower than your income. Trap 3. Comparing yourself to others. Your colleague bought a new car. A friend upgraded their apartment. Your feed is full of other people's success. Remember, you don't know what's behind it. Loans, family help, a completely different income level. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. The plan, how to reach the first threshold. Alright, now let's talk about concrete steps. Before we get to the steps, one uncomfortable question. Have you ever Googled how to save money? Almost certainly yes. There's an infinite amount of information out there. So why is it still so hard? Because the problem was never information. The problem is the system. That's exactly what the next 4 steps are about. Step 1. Find your number. Calculate your essential monthly expenses. Rent/mortgage, food, transportation, utilities, minimum debt payments. Multiply by 3. That's your minimum first threshold. Multiply by 6. That's your optimal target. Write it down. That number is your goal. Step 2. Automate. Set up an automatic transfer on payday, at least 10 to 15% of your income, to a separate account, one you don't touch. The key word here is automatic. When you have to make a conscious decision to save, you'll always find a reason not to. When it happens automatically, money simply accumulates. Step 3. Find your unlock. That's one or more sources of extra income or savings that will speed up your path to the first threshold. A side gig, selling things you no longer need, optimizing one major expense category. You don't have to turn your whole life upside down. Finding an extra $200 to $500 per month on top of what you're already saving is enough.
Step 4. Put the money to work. While you're building toward the first threshold, your savings shouldn't just sit in a regular account. A high-yield savings account, a term deposit, conservative funds, something that at least partially outpaces inflation. You shouldn't be taking risks with this money. But it also shouldn't be sitting completely idle. Let's bring it together. Most people never build wealth, not because they lack knowledge, and not because they lack opportunity, but because they never cross the first threshold. That moment when the brain switches from survival mode to growth mode. That first threshold is 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. It's not the destination, it's the gate. But the most important thing, that gate only opens from the inside. Nobody can walk through it for you. Not advice, not videos, not knowledge. Only one action, today. Small, concrete, first. Drop a comment right now. What's the one action you're gonna take today? Not, I'll start saving. Be specific. I'll open an account. I'll transfer X dollars. I'll calculate my number. I respond to every comment with a concrete next step. It takes 20 seconds, but those 20 seconds might be the starting point. If this video helped you see money differently, share it with one person who needs to hear this. And subscribe, because next week, we're going into exactly what comes after the first threshold. and why most people mess that part up too.